Hello, everyone, and welcome back to CXRL. We are with the second race weekend of the Modern Hot Hatch Championship Tuners race. This will be races 2 through 3, as we have a two-race night tonight. We will have two sprint races, one at the Sebring Club Circuit for 15 laps, and the second race will be at the Homestead Mini Circuit for 20 laps. Here we have the grid order posted for tonight. We have BattleBots taking pole, second Spools, third Big Fresh Bagel, fourth Toasty Broski, the fifth Death Row Tool, sixth Venom, seventh Game Stopper, eighth Tommy, ninth Coinsy, 10th Dakota Man, 11th Juicebox, 12th Bomber, 13th Reisky, and 14th Ghost in Me. Now let's get things underway. Just a heads up, I forgot to put it on the little thing, but Sebring is going to be heavy rain throughout the entire race, which is going to add a huge factor for drivers to have to deal with. Because rain is a tricky condition to deal with in this game. It's it's rain, of course. It's wet. The track has less grip. You're sliding all over the place. So all-wheel drive cars are going to be able to take advantage of how much traction they have, while front-wheel drive cars might struggle a little bit getting out of the corners. Now let's get things underway as we're going to have our formation lap to start out the first race at Sebring. Again, we only have two POVs this time around. Next race we do have three, so we'll get rid of the thumbnail on the bottom right. Here we go around for the formation lap. Those conditions look horrible. That is not conditions I want to be racing in. The visibility is so low, as you can already tell. It's going to be a rough race. Well, even rough race, is that the right thing to call it? I don't know. It might still be a great race. The problem is that it's just so hard to see with how thick the rain is, the thunder coming down. It's going to be a tricky race to navigate. Front-wheel drive cars are most likely going to have the most difficulty during this race, while the all-wheel drive Mercedes might have an advantage of Coin and GameStopper. We're just waiting to round out to the final corner. We have a much larger grid this time around compared to the first race. A lot of late signups. We'll see what these, I wouldn't call rookies because these people are all very experienced, can manage to do as they're coming out of the final corner to start the form up. Everyone will start to form up and bunch together to form their starting positions. Two wide, and here they go. And oh wait, I forgot. I was about to call it green, but the starting line is not for a few hundred feet per se. It's a long start finish straight. Even though it doesn't feel like a long start finish straight for this track, it's a lot longer than it looks. Here we go. Now we're coming to the countdown, and they are green at Sebring, and they're off. I called it a little bit early, and here they go into turn one as the chaos unfolds. GameStopper out front is going to go a little bit wide into turn one. Coin on the inside line is going to get a much better run out of the final corner. Is going to pass Death Row Toll. Just so much more traction that car has out of the first corner and around the outside of GameStopper now. Coin taking a significant lead right off the bat as GameStopper is going to run a little bit wide through the sweeping left-hander. Is going to get almost passed by... Whoa, what a lunge. It's going to lunge it on Coin. A little bit of contact, but everyone's staying on the track and everyone's clean. A little bit of chaos going on behind GameStopper's. Coin's going to slowly edge out the rest of the pack, as GameStopper has a lot of headlights in the rearview mirror, going a little bit early on the brakes. And somebody's off behind him. I believe it's Death Row Tool who got stuck in the grass and sweeping on by UNR Barma, and there's going to be a little bit of contact. I think GameStopper misjudged the braking point with that Clio right in his face. And LMP Juicebox is going to go on by as we have the Volkswagen and another Clio, I think it is, battling it out behind. And the Volkswagen is going to get past Epic Tommy. Epic Tommy's going to get past GameStopper. GameStopper is dropping down the order one by one. Death Row Tool coming around the left-hand side. GameStopper has no run in the straightaway. Is just getting passed by everyone. Into 7th position now, and he's got no brakes and slams into the rear of Dakota Man. I think everything's okay, roughly. It was a bit of a shunt, but... And Dakota Man and Venom getting past swiftly. It looks like there's something wrong with his car. It is way slower in the straights than it should be. There go a little bit of action. Dakota Man and Death Row Tool and Venom all scrapping it out. I think Dakota Man might have some damage from that shunt with GameStopper earlier, but there's no way to be sure. Coin still has a pretty solid lead of the race, nothing huge. So we're about to finish lap 3 to go on to lap 4 of 15. And GameStopper is not losing them in the braking zone or corners. It's every single straightaway. These guys are just leaving him in the dust. I would not be surprised if he has some engine damage from over-revving, possibly. And look, that lead Coin has. LMP is catching up very slowly, lap by lap. This is probably not the performance GameStopper was looking for in this race. The Mercedes were a pretty solid car last race. Oh, and running wide into turn 1. It's going to have to take a little bit of a rallycross line to get through and back onto the track. The grass is soaked at this point as it's pouring. It's raining, it's thundering, and there's lightning everywhere. This is very dangerous. I wouldn't be spectating this race IRL if I had the choice. Well, things are starting to calm down, at least from this perspective. It looks like it's going to be a long race. GameStopper just falling off the pack more and more and more. Something is not right about that car. And Coin is going to have a battle coming up soon as Juicebox is catching her. We'll see how this battle unfolds over lap by lap. Again, this is still a pretty long race. There's still a good amount of laps in this race, despite it being a sprint race. This is nothing like the classic muscle car championship we had last year, where it was like 5-minute races, 5-10-minute races each, and we'd do 5 of them one night. That was crazy. There was so much aggression and hard driving. It was ridiculous. And look at this, LMP is looking up on Coin. You see the arrow, proximity arrow popping up every now and then. Juicebox is there. On the bumper. Not right on the bumper, but he's there. He's making himself aware. He's like, hey, I'm here. Don't count me out of this. I'm looking for a battle here. I'm looking for first place. I'm trying to take that from you. Still a pretty chill and relaxing race so far. No kerfuffles. Um, no funny business, which is good to see. Now we're slowly seeing... Whoops. I hit the stupid help button on my HP, and it opened Internet Explorer. That's very annoying. Anyways, here's the order so far. It looks like LMP Juicebox, Bomber, and Tommy Gun all in the top positions here. See how they duke it out. And GameStopper's fallen so far off the pace. Yeah, if you compare his like straight line speed to Coin here. Oh, and look, LMP's a lot closer than he was last lap, and Coin's going to take some off lines here, probably cracking under the stress. And look at Juicebox's straight line. Goodness gracious, that Clio has some straight line speed. Yeah, if we're comparing the straight line speed to GameStopper, there's obviously something wrong with this car, or it's severely underpowered. And under brakes, here they go into turn one. One Coin on the inside, Juicebox around the outside. Juicebox is going to cut off the line, and here comes Bomber on the outside, just around back, not around the outside, but it's on the outside now of Coin just sticking up a nose. A little bit of contact between Coin and LMP, and look at the top speed of those Clios is insane. They don't have the traction out of the corners like the Mercedes does. That all-wheel drive system has a bit of an advantage getting a launch out of the corner, but still, those Clios have such a straight line advantage. It's ridiculous. Oh, and here's the confirmation that we needed, that GameStopper is damaged. The engine is twitching a bit, only holding 80 miles an hour and 80% damage on the engine. That's speaking like a retirement there, but we'll see what happens as Bomber and LMP are battling it up front. Maybe Coin can go for a move here or try to get back into these the top two places. This looks like our battle for the top three podium places. Coin not far behind LMP, but it is so misty, it's hard to tell what the hell is going on. Bomber just taking away from the pack. They've got a much better setup on that car. It looks into the braking zone of turn one. No real moves happening. A little bit of contact. Coin's just going to bump the rear end of Juicebox. And out of turn one they go down to the back straight. GameStopper just pedaling along. The poor thing probably has about as much power as a smart car right now. They go under braking. Oh, more contact. Coin has way more confidence under the brakes and is braking way later than Juicebox is, but isn't able to stop it in time to not run into them. Now things seem to have calmed down. They're still close. I think the top end speed of those Clios would be destroying this Mercedes right now if it were not for the rain, because those Clios are probably struggling for grip more than the Mercedes is, because the Mercedes has just loads of grip with the all-wheel drive system. And here they go. Coin still close on LMP. Down the front straight they go. Past the start-finish line. Coin going to try and do something. Coin goes to the inside. Is not going to be close enough to get a move. Just barely. Is going to force LMP wide. As it looks like GameStopper is retiring from the race. And a little bit of contact between Juicebox and Coin. Coin's going to have to recede the position. And I was right. GameStopper is retiring from the race. That is really unfortunate. He's not going to score any points from this race. It just seems like he'd over-revved the engine a few times unintentionally, and the damage overcomes the revs were too fast for what the car could handle. Now onto the top three places battle. Lap 9 out of 16. Oh, it looks like LMP made a little mistake. Nothing huge, though. Nothing huge that Coin can capitalize on yet. They're still pretty close. Like, Coin is not backing off too far as they round at lap 10 out of 16. It's only one extra lap because of the formation lap, but I'm just going to count it because... why not? It's a little less confusing. I really hope in the next Forza they add formation laps. It would just make things so much easier for everything. Leagues. Oh well. Oh well. Such is life. Here we go. We see that advantage on grip out of this corner specifically. Because look, Coin's getting just edging closer. Edging closer and closer through this little section. And it's going to try and make a move on the inside. That was a very far way to lunge. Look at this. she's able to gas it out of that corner a lot earlier than that Clio's able to get traction. Those front two tires are pulling that car and steering it. It's a lot to work. A lot of work for those front two axles. Well, all four of these axles on the Mercedes are all doing work, which gives you, I mean, that's probably not 4 times the traction, but in theory, more traction than the Clio, even on, like, more specifically in these conditions. So you have a lot of weight on the front of those cars, it's harder to turn them in, and getting out of the corner, it's just going to spin up the wheels, while all-wheel drive cars will have no problem just flooring it and power sliding out of these corners. So here we go, coming towards the end of this race, only a few more laps remaining. Coin's still not shaking LMP. Actually, I think I'm going to refer to him as Juicebox from now on, for the commentary's sake, because it might get confusing in endurance races. Oh, and here comes Coin trying to send it. That is her only chance right there, where she's able to get close enough. So she's just got to play it just safe for a lap or two to get as close as she can and send it on that corner. Because she's tried to go for a move a few times there. It's just not been close enough to stick up a nose. And LMP's going to make a mistake here going a little bit wide, but ooh, looks like Coin's going to go wide as well and taking a different line. But Juicebox is going to get a much better exit speed out of that corner. This track is really fun. It's really technical. It's got a lot of hard braking zones, a lot of sweeping corners, 90 degrees. It's good for battling. And it's also great for not having any, absolutely any visibility. Also, this is a cool POV that we're getting. We don't usually get this, but GameStopper is spectating. It's going to show us some information that we can use. I didn't realize that. Oh, that's so cool. This is what we can do when we have live commentators, but we currently do not have live commentators, so we. Oh, and look at that. Coin is looking. Is that Coin looking behind, or is GameStopper looking behind? But Dakota Man is coming up on Coin pretty quickly from that incident all the way in the back. Here's Juicebox with Coin just following behind. Keep switching POVs. That's Dakota Man. No, he switched again. And that's Epic Tommy. What I really like about live commentary is that you can get a little bit of everyone's story, a little bit of coverage of everyone. It looks like LMP made a huge mistake into turn one, locked up the brakes or something, but it's still, he has a huge gap to Coin now. Juicebox is out of the contention of Coin, but now Coin is under threat from Dakota Man from the back. Dakota Man's been grinding up this entire race. That little Clio, the Clio gang, as we'll refer to them, have been very dominant in this series. The Renault Clios are very fast and very strong contenders of this championship. Coin looks to be falling off the pace a good bit. It's very hard to tell. She's not as close to Juicebox as she was before. Looks like she's getting a little inconsistent. Her lines are getting a little mixed up, which makes it very difficult. It's very difficult to stay consistent in the wet. It's very difficult to stay consistent in normal times, unless you're good and have a lot of practice. You can tell Juicebox takes an interesting line through turn one, goes really deep on the brakes to have a more harsh turn in, but a more straight exit so that he can just get on the gas and not worrying about traction being an issue. Oh, I forgot. You know what's something that's a little awkward? is that the spectator mode's a little bit behind what's actually happening. So switching behind a live feed in spectator mode is a little awkward. She's still pretty close to Juicebox. Specifically through this section, she has a huge advantage. So you see, Juicebox is taking way more sweeping lines as Coin is cutting across and doesn't have to worry about really the exit because she just has traction. She takes a really interesting line through here, which does not give her the best of exit speeds. And you can see Dakota Man right behind, catching up as there's only 3 laps to go. Well, two laps now. 2 laps to go. Bomber is also just destroying this entire field. He is gone. Ran away from the entire pack. He's just cruising his own race at this point. I would not like to be a marshal for this race. If I had to sit out in the soaking rain, I mean, I'd sit out in the rain for racing. But, like, if I got paid enough, yeah, I'd do it. But if I was gonna get this soaked, I don't think I'd do it. Actually, you know what? Depending on what's racing, that would change my mind. Whoa, look at this. Coin is getting closer to Juice Box. It's very hard because the gaps keep going like an accordion. In certain sectors, she catches up. In certain sectors, he pulls away. Also, I keep dropping my dang phone. Oh my goodness. And here we go into the final lap. I think Bomber's already been waved the white flag for the final lap at Sebring International for the first race, the second week of racing, which is confusing. I need to set a way we're going to use that audibly. And if everyone keeps it on the track, it doesn't look like anything crazy is going to happen here. This is a great first race from Bomber, Juicebox, Dakota Man, Epic Tommy Gun. Great debut to CXRL. Showing your skills. Oh, Dakota Man getting much closer on that 90-degree corner. Coin is going to try and defend. I don't think Dakota Man's going to be close enough to make a move. But if he had 1 or 2 laps, I think Coin would have been out of the podium places. Yeah, look at that. Dakota Man way closer that lap. Just inching closer to that Mercedes. But in the end, it's not going to be enough. As Coin is going to finish 3rd, 2nd Juicebox, and 4th Bomber. Now we will have a slight intermission as we wait for the race to end. I mean, you can kind of see the race results here, but the official race results will all be shown at the end of the video. I'm going to edit out the gap between the first and the second race, so this will be our intermission for now. Welcome back, everyone. The intermission is over. That probably took no time for you, but I was sitting here scrolling through TikTok, and here we go. I mean, you can see the grid order right there. GameStop or Death or Toll. Tommy Gun, Dakota Man, Coincy, Juicebox, Bomber, and Venom at the back. And here we go for the formation lap. Oh goodness, the races are a little bit desynced. And I'm sorry about that. I'll try to make sure the next series of races are a little bit more synced when I put them in here, but here we go on the formation lap at Miami. Homestead, Miami. I forget which one you'd say first. Whoop, wrong screen. Game Stopper starting at the front of the grid. McCoy starting towards the back. Let's see what hell breaks loose on another crazy race in the Hot Hatch Championship. This has been a really good championship so far. The first race was okay. The second race at Sebring was really good. And we'll see what happens here at Homestead. The mini circuit's a really weird circuit. It's mostly straightaways with a lot of tight, slow corners. So cars with a lot of downforce are not going to really have any advantage. The front-wheel drive cars will probably have a huge pace advantage here just because they're going to be able to get around these corners a lot easier. Specifically the Clios, and here we go, rounding out the final corner onto the front straightaway. A little bit of messy start, but people are getting into formation now. They're starting the countdown to go green. Game Stopper's going to get to the line. And we are green, green, green at Homestead, Miami. And here we go for the chaos of the start. We're 3 wide in the back. We go. Game Stopper having a little lovely start. Oh, big shunt from the back. Bomber getting a shunt from Coin. It looked like everyone's braking and it just kind of backed up. Coin getting past Venom to turn 1. A little bit more chaos back here as dirt gets starting to fly. Here's a good view of everything. Bomber having, Dakota Man having to back out of that as the VW is right in the way of Tommy. And Game Stopper getting a fabulous lead off of the first lap. All of that chaos happening behind him allowed him to just chill out. Here we go, some more chaos in the next set of corners. Cars are everywhere. Cones are splattered. They're too wide. 4 cars all battling it out and duking it out. And, ooh, GameStopper almost loses it. And it looks like Juicebox is right there. More chaos coming through the final corners. Just cars everywhere. And here we go, as it looks like Juicebox is getting past, and Bomber's getting past GameStopper. GameStopper also taking a little bit of damage on the engine. And here we go down the front straight as Coin's catching up on Epic Tommy Gun as they go into turn 1. Woo, cutting across Death Row Tools line. No crazy moves happening here. Here, GameStopper fighting with the lead cars right now for podium places. There's Bomber and Juicebox fighting it out for first and second. GameStopper still barely holding on to the slower corners, but as soon as they get to a straightaway, those cars, those Renault Clios, just take off. And we can see probably what happens from this perspective. How's this battle going to turn out? Let's go hard into the brakes, and it looks like Juicebox is going to run a little bit wide, but he's going to have the inside for the next corner. Or Bomber side by side, a little bit of pushing and shoving, but it's still clean racing. A little bit of contact, but they're still clean. It looks like Bomber's just going to have a little bit of better run out of the outside. Juicebox still on the inside, and GameStopper's going to run really wide. It's not going to be able to get it stopped in time. It's just barely avoid the other cars. Or is Dakota Man just barely staying out of it. And look, Coin's going to come into the mix, and Coin's going to get past GameStopper down the front straight. Ooh, they're just side by side. What a crazy little battle up front. Now the Mercs are back 4 and 5, just right next to each other like they were previous races. Ooh, GameStopper taking really, really brave line on the brakes there. Was able to get really close to Coin. But Coin still has a little bit of a pace advantage. GameStopper trying to throw it up on the inside anywhere he can to try and get to Coin. Coin's going to get the exit out of that corner and is going to rocket away down the back straightaway. The front 3 cars, Juicebox, Bomber, and Dakota Man, now all in a line. It looks like they have solid gaps between each other, so we'll see how this all plays out. Seems like this race is going to be a lot more chill. People are going to be spread out. This is gonna be a much longer race than the first one, I believe. This is it's kind of a similar track to Sebring, in all honesty, with the dynamics of it. Other than the straightaways, there's no flowy corners like Sebring, other than kind of turn one and kind of two. Turn two is a lot slower, but it's still flowing. You never like feel like you're on 90 degrees. But after that, the Sebring feel of it is gone, and it's just hard braking, slow corners. You gotta slow down more than you wish. And also, look at this Tommy gun on Game Stopper. Ooh, Tommy gun running a little bit wide out of the corner, does not get the run that he wishes out of there. Game Stopper has some engine damage, so is going to be losing a good bit in the straightaways. We're on lap 5 of 21. GameStop going a little bit deep on the brakes. That Volkswagen Golf is just sticking his nose up wherever he can. He's still there. He does not want to lose out here. As the lead 3 cars are starting to get away from the pack, Coin getting left in the dust. It's kind of in our own race right now. Now here's the current battle going on that we should watch here. It's Epic Tommy Gun and GameStopper. It looks like the Volkswagen is a lot slower in the straight line, but has a handling advantage, which is really weird because you'd think the Mercedes is really good in handling and exiting corners, but it's kind of the same as the Volkswagen. Yet the Volkswagen seems to out-handle it every corner. Could just be the driving style GameStopper is putting into it, and the Mercedes does not want to, give back to him. We'll see how this plays out. Because while they're kind of accordioning again, they're not that big of a gap forming. About a second every time it spreads out, but they're bringing it back together. Whoa, look at this. GameStopper made a little bit of a mistake. The back end got a little bit squirrely, and Tommy Gun's still there. Oh, and a big over rev by GameStopper. Hopefully that didn't do any damage to the engine. They're still down the back straight, and it's still pretty calm. Epic Tommy Gun has been just pointing the blue nose. It's a beautiful car from the rearview mirror, by the way. Beautiful blue. Just sticking up the nose wherever he can to try and... Well, it doesn't look like he's going for a pass yet, but it's mostly intimidation until he can get close enough to go for a pass. Like, you can get really close through this section. It's almost impossible to pass unless the car ahead of you leaves a gap. And it looks like he got a solid run out of that corner, but still... GameStopper, even with the engine damage, still has a way better acceleration and top speed than the Golf does. Oh, and here he comes. He was trying to send it up on the inside, trying to poke his nose in and force GameStopper wide. Super close. It was kind of sketchy to see if that would have been legal if he tried to make it work. Oh, GameStopper loses it again, loses the run into the final corners, and Epic Tommy Gun's going to try and send it up on the inside. GameStopper's not having any of it. GameStopper's making that Mercedes really wide. Is barely on the legal side of things, but is still technically legal. He wasn't changing his lines drastically. Was just making a defensive move. I think GameStopper has an art of defending where it's not over the top or illegal. Like, he'll make some crazy defensive moves, but you'll argue it's still in the rules because he's not moving under braking or he's just taking a racing line. He's clever with how he defends. And I know because I've raced him. On the final race of the BRZ Championship, I tried beating the GameStopper in the final race. He just would not let me pass. And I mean, I was poking his muffler every time, every corner. That sounds a little inappropriate, but not what I meant. Essentially, I was bump drafting every braking zone, every corner, and he had the better top speed, but I could handle way better through the corners. Specifically, the S's, I was way faster. But by the end of the lap, I'd be right on his tail, but still couldn't pass him because of how he drove. And it was all legal. Honestly, I almost took him out of the race and did a cut at the final corner. I have desperation trying to pass him, and there comes the desperation from Epic Tommy Gun. He's sending up trying to take drastic lines, drastic measures to try and get past GameStopper. Whoop, wrong screen. Sorry, I redid the screen design, so it's a little confusing for me. It looks like Dakota Man also dropped off of the top two drivers. Kind of coin, just leave. Whoa, look at that run! Look at that lunge! Not gonna make it. That was very, very, very ambitious. As Epic Tommy Gun is not having a fun time back there trying to pass GameStopper. GameStopper is making it as difficult as possible. That was GameStopper's corner. He was all in his right to do that. He was just taking his racing line. Epic Tommy Gun, it has to just stick the nose of that car and hope it fits. What he really needs to do right now is just kind of follow along. Follow his lines, stay as close as possible throughout the lap. Oh, and look at that. He just tries to take the inside line, just tries to take it away. But every time he does that and doesn't plan out the pass, it's taking away from his pace. So he needs to plan a path. He needs to get as close as possible. Either, like, just follow right behind. Hug that bumper or into the braking zone. When you're close enough, send it. You can't just... Sometimes you can sporadically just make a move and it will work. But not all the time. Also, this is a corner, it's a section he makes a lot of time up. Also, it looks like Juicebox and Bomber have been duking it out this entire time as you look on the map. The front two dots have been really close together. They could just be close together, or they could be duking it out. I haven't seen many lead changes. It's going to be interesting to see how that all plays out. Oh, GameStopper taking that a little bit of wide line there. It's going to get a little bit loose. This is going to give Tommy Gun an opportunity to get a little bit closer. Tommy Gun right there, just sticking the nose. Is going to be very close to GameStopper. Is going to lose out a good bit in the straightaway, but under the draft, it looks like he's able to hold on a good bit more. Look at the straight line speed difference between GameStopper and that and Tommy Gun. Oh, and GameStopper is late on the brakes and is going to run wide. Still going to have the inside line. He's going to take a little bit of contact from Tommy Gun, which is understandable from that position. I don't think Tommy Gun was expecting him to swerve back, but it's technically still legal. Tommy Gun just really struggling to pass. And here we go. Tommy Gun's going to send it on the inside, but it's not going to be close enough. It's also going to understeer and almost took out GameStopper there as they go back into the front stretch. GameStopper accumulating more engine damage. I think the engine damage might be the equalizer that Tommy Gun needs to catch up and to get even with GameStopper. Because it's clear that Volkswagen has so much better handling. He's going to send it up on the inside, and here's the move that sticks. A little bit of rubbing paint. They're scraping doors right now, and GameStopper was having none of it, and it's going to be a little bit of pushing and shoving coming out of the corner. Here we go. Who's going to get the run? Mercedes is going to be a little bit slow, and it looks like Epic Tommy Gun's going to have the run for now, but GameStopper is not far behind. Epic, he found the move, and GameStopper's going to send it up on the inside. Huge lunge. And it's not going to make it work. That was a dive bomb. That was a prayer to heaven. Hope to God I keep that position. If that took out Epic Tommy Gun, that would have certainly been a penalty. Oh, he's going to lose it a little bit. Snap the rear. He's going to accumulate even more engine damage. 9% engine damage, which is going to slow his top speed significantly as Epic Tommy Gun is going to drive off into the distance. What a battle. Yeah, Tommy Gun did not have that straight line speed or acceleration that the Mercedes had, but definitely has the handling. See, every corner he'd catch up, but in the straightaways that Mercedes was gone. Poof. Sayonara. Ooh, who popped into the pits? Oh, Venom pitted. I am wondering if there was an incident back there with Death Row Toll, or... I'm not sure. Now, the races seem to get a little bit more chill, as we're about half distance. We're past half distance. And now it seems like everyone's going to be running their races. I wish I could see up front what's going on between the top leaders. But we sadly do not have that POV today. Oh, I did not say this early on, but top left is Coinsy and top right's GameStopper. I need to label the who's who where at the beginning of each video. I should probably do that more often, you know? Might be a smart strategy, you know? Yeah. Go back on board with GameStopper. Epic Tommy Gun's still not that far away. If GameStopper is able to set some pretty relative clean laps, might be able to catch him just because of that speed advantage in that car. But I don't know. It looked like Tommy Gun was being held up by him in the corners. This in the exit. It's kind of hard to tell because the cars are they handle so much different than one another. Also, that dip once you get onto the front straight out of the final corner is so violent. I'm surprised the cars don't take suspension damage from that dip. Like, it's hard, and GameStopper's gonna run wide. That grass is scary. Reminder to what happened at Watkins Glen. GameStopper put a wheel in the not glass, a wheel in the grass and completely lost it. These cars are just because these cars in this game are very difficult to handle once they get into the grass. I think it's Coin coming up on a lap car. I think it's Death Row Toll. It is Death Row Toll. And that massively loud Civic. Getting a little battle going, unintentionally. Go into the final two corners and Coin's going to make the move. Now this is where the race usually chills out unless there's a big battle going on. Unless we have a caution of some sort, which would really mix things up. We had a caution on the first race of the championship. There was a well, we had two wrecks, I think, in that race, and one where there was a damaged car on track that was posing a significant hazard to other drivers. So there was a virtual safety car deployed, which bunched everyone up. Next race weekend will also be at Catalunya National Circuit, I believe. And that's going to be an endurance race. It's going to be really interesting to see how that impacts some of these drivers and their cars. Specifically, the Clio gang, who are probably going to take off from the pack and be in their own world. So we'll see how that plays out. The race slowly coming to a close as we're going to ride on board with Coin for a few laps. It's very peaceful when you're in the midfield and not having to battle anyone. So all you gotta do is just lap. If you're consistent enough, if you're consistent enough, you're not gonna get caught by anyone behind you. But if you're not fast enough, there's no real reason to push extremely hard to try and catch those drivers a whole second faster than you. So I kind of just find myself relaxing, just hitting some hot laps, not trying to die. You know, finish the race and score some decent points. Oh, look at this! GameStopper made some progress on Tommy Gun. That's kind of impressive, actually. I was not expecting to see that. Time is running out for these for the laps. I'm not sure if the time difference is significantly different. So here comes GameStopper, I think about to get lapped by Bomber. Not mistaken. Oh, GameStopper running on the grass. Oh, was just gonna grip up at the last second. Luckily, oh, and so snap it. And who is that? Is that Bomber? Oh, what is GameStopper? Holding the inside line for Bomber. A little bit rude, pushy and shovey. But Bomber's going to make easy work of that damaged Mercedes. Yeah, see what I'm saying about how violent that jolt is? Like, every time I hit it, I thought I was getting damaged because it's just, it's so violent. You just slam into it. Here's the relaxing part of the race where we just listen to the cars. I think I am going to leave you guys here to listen to the cars unless anything happens, so just sit tight and relax and enjoy the racing. Here comes Coin rounding out to the final lap of the race. The white flag has already been waving for a few of the drivers, as I believe Bomber is already about to cross the line to finish the race. As Dakota Man and Dakota Man, Juicebox follow suit. There we go. And Bomber wins 2 out of 2 races tonight. Incredible performance. Juicebox finishing second, also holding some seriously good positions. And Dakota Man also holding a podium tonight. Almost got a double podium at Sebring, but was just starved out of it. If they had a few more laps, they would have had that podium. Watch Coin rounding out the final few corners of the track, hitting that violent bump onto the main straight. And here they go down the front straight to finish 4th at Homestead. Here we have GameStopper setting his final lap of the race. He's going to send it on the AI of Juicebox. A little bit of contact. Juicebox has finished the race already, so that AI does not matter. I don't think any disrespect was intended. And here comes GameStopper to finish 6th at Homestead. Thank you all for watching. Here is the finishing the race positions of each race. For race 2 at Sebring, first is Bomber, second Juicebox, third Coin C, fourth Dakota Man, fifth Epic Tommy Gun, sixth. Oh, they changed their username. Interesting. When this was taken. But sixth was Venom, I believe. Which, just to disclaimer, they are not actually a part of that esports organization in their name, or are they the real Venom? They're an imposter. As honored as I'd be to have a real esports driver here, They are not. So Venom, Death Row Tool, and Game Stopper with a DNF. The extra lap point for the first race goes to Bomber with a 1 minute 15 seconds, 0.665. For the third race, well, the second race tonight at Homestead Mini Circuit, Union Bomber taking another win, and by a substantial margin. Second Juice Box with double. The top two were same for both races. That's impressive. Third, Dakota Man. Fourth, Coinsy. Fifth, Epic Tommy Gun. Sixth, Game Stopper. Seventh, Venom. And eighth, Death Row Tool. The best lap goes once again to Bomber with a 1 minute 01.944. Thank you all for watching. Again, I do not have the championship standings as of now due to me recording this late, and it's already been updated. I think in the future I will keep a screenshot of each championship points after each race so that I can, even after I update it, if I'm late to get the recording out, I can still have those results. So thank you all for watching. Next week we will be at Catalunya for 25 laps at the National Circuit. It will be an endurance race, so please don't miss it. Thank you all for watching, and see you all later.